The Oval, Season 4. We're pleasure to bring you hot topics in politics, pop culture, and trending media. Oneonta's finest voices, spreading knowledge, inspiration, and awareness to the campus at large, with a splash of campus entertainment and entertainment news. Where could you go wrong? This is The Oval. Marlene Ramirez, Terrell Rose, Banu Gar, Sean Miller, Imani Thomas, and our entertainment hosts, Danny B. and Brooke Harris.
But I feel like this color is actually not good on camera. Good evening and welcome to The Oval. An exciting episode awaits us as we are ready to discuss a few new hot topics. And we welcome a very special guest, Faith Tiemann, the Director of Multicultural Student Initiatives here at SUNY Oneonta. She's joining us at the table tonight, and we will be discussing the Trump administration pushing a policy that will legally define gender based on biological attributes at birth. We will be talking about cultural appropriation during Halloween, and lastly, the legalization of marijuana in Canada. And you're going to want to stay tuned till the end of this episode to see our very own Terrell Rose perform. So let's get started. First and foremost, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Snap. Oh, thank you.
So do you want to tell us a little bit of what you do on campus?
Sure. So I'm the Director of Multicultural Student Initiatives, and some of my main responsibilities are diversity education for students with our Common Ground program, cultural events, so Latinx Heritage Month, Black History Month, MLK Day, and then I also plan our diversity conference, which is on February 23rd this year, and Kente graduation, which will be at the end of April.
Yes.
Yeah, seniors at the table.
Yeah.
Are you gonna? Did you go to that?
Yeah, I went last year.
But I'll be going this year. So I really appreciate that you're at this table because I feel like what we're talking about today, you can offer like kind of a great important perspective on these topics. The first one is, so the Department of Health Service and Human Service released a memo basically saying that people will legally be defined based on the sex attributes they receive at birth. Mm-hmm. So this completely is a major setback for the trans and non-binary community. So I was wondering your take on this. Everyone.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I think the biggest thing is that we're rolling back everything we've learned about gender being a social construct and sex being biological, mm-hmm. right? So we've identified that those are two separate things, and now they're trying to backtrack and make it so that people can't express their belief in who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that it's definitely a setback. It's like, how do we go from being like kind of like go through this progressive era and just get so far, and then now under this administration, it's like we're seeing so much like digression. Mm-hmm. It's like really insane to me. I didn't think that we would see this.
Yeah.
It's certainly also like transgender people and non-binary people to that extent are facing a lot of different, there was the bathroom bill controversy back in 2016, 2017. There was the military tweet that kind of happened that was, a big controversy. And, there's other things like workplace discrimination and, poverty and a whole bunch of slew of things that occur that are always like debasing and debunking trans lives. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And, it's something that needs to be addressed more, and this is like a completely like step in the wrong direction. in terms of like being able to grant people the rights that they deserve. You know, we all have rights granted by the Civil Rights Act and many other things, and everybody should be benefiting from those rights, and trans and non-binary folk aren't.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. It's
And
upsetting.
you said, yeah, it is. And you said something about the bathroom, like that whole controversy about people being allowed to use the bathroom that they feel like pertains to them. And I find it interesting that Donald Trump actually years back, well, I think 2 years ago, or even a year and a half ago, I would say, he's actually said that he thinks people should use the bathroom that they feel like they should use, which is kind of like a lot of people who don't support Trump kind of like wouldn't give him credit. I mean, like,
Right.
it's like basic human morals to feel that way, but like, this is a very conservative person. So for him to say that, I was like, wow, he said that, like, good. But then he kind of went back on it now. And I do think he was kind of like pandering and catering to.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely,
I think he
of course.
consistently, time and time again, goes back and forth on what he says and what he believes in, and I mean, that is one of the many, many issues that many people see with him, and I mean, especially being as president, aside from just being a person, but president of the whole nation,
Yeah.
that's a big issue.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing here is that despite your gender, like, these are American citizens and they're being dehumanized. And
Yeah.
I think, like you said, we're going back in time. Like, I think the clock's just rolling back, and that's kind of shocking, for
Yeah.
lack of a better term.
So yeah, we haven't really seen. I saw the initial memo that was put out, but we haven't seen like anything come after that. So I'm not sure if this is something that
It could be. I feel like it should be rethought. Something that could be just changed to the sheer fact that it's affecting so many people. And even though it would affect a small amount of people, they're still, like you said, American citizens.
1.4 million.
Yeah, that's
4
not
million.
that's not
That's
a small
not-
amount
Exactly,
of people.
that's not a small amount. And at the same time, our President Trump, or AKA Donnie, my man.
That's the nickname we have
Yeah.
for him.
Donnie, you can't go back on your word, because half of the politicians who's in office, they go back on their word. So it's very hard for the citizens to trust you, and it's hard for us to actually put some type of trust in our government and taking stuff into their own hands, and we wouldn't want that. And if something like that happens, then we're gonna drive in a really just bad direction,
Yeah.
especially the social climate in the United States right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think two things that we can focus on to make change. Get out and vote in November,
Yes.
because if we can swing enough of these seats, we'll be able
Yeah.
to put some stoppage in place to these bills going forward. And then if you identify as a cis person, share your pronouns,
Yeah.
because it does nothing to harm you to share them, to make sure that if you are in the company of trans people, that they feel safe sharing their pronouns with you. It doesn't take anything to do that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Go out and vote, and even if this doesn't affect you, still get involved, because this is just basic. This is basic morality. Like, you know, it's not ethical to take those rights away from a certain group of people just because it doesn't affect you. So we have to take a short break, and we will be right back. Top 3 favorite horror movies, go.
Okay, so Drag Me to Hell, The Shining, and
Paranormal, you said.
Paranormal, yeah. You said that.
I already thought of two better ones. Final Destination.
Yeah, it's good when you die on
I
a roller
can't deal with the
coaster,
final
yeah.
listen. They're horrifying. I've seen like clips. I never can drive behind a log truck because
Yep.
like of the second one or
That's
whatever, where
same.
like the whole lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so long story short, like the logs fall off of like a truck and like it slams into everybody in traffic, and it is like the most horrifying thing. And every time I see a log truck in real life, I'm like driving like a whole like truck's length behind that truck and like never like fast enough to like catch up to it. Cannot deal with that. I'm not dying today.
I like looking at like the weights that they had in I think the third one, where like it snapped and it just like decapitated, and I was like, oh, I don't. Yeah, it's very like traumatic. You just like after you see that movie, you're just worried about everything.
welcome back. So we're moving on to our second topic, which is cultural appropriation during Halloween, which is something that we've seen time after time during Halloween specifically. However, it hasn't really gotten as much like attention, I guess, because now like the woke generation is like entering and like kind of like pointing it out and calling people out on it. So yeah, what do you guys think about this?
Hey, look, first things first, I just want to say that we are in a college town, and Halloween is not only for us, guys. It's not only for us. So look, and I'm not coming at anybody, but there's kids out there. So watch with the T-shirts that you have on. It may have, you know, the middle finger up. Don't do that. We don't want the kids seeing that. Like, if we're gonna have fun, you know, just like keep it to.
But now that I got you talking to, I agree with you.
Uh-oh.
Definitely watch out for the kids. But now that I got you talking, we actually talked about cultural appropriation last season, and we talked about the girl wearing the kimono, and she had no idea about the culture, and she wore it as a prom dress. And I remember we got into a little debacle.
Right.
So I'm interested in knowing what you think about appropriated costumes.
Okay. All right. So I get that Halloween is a time for everyone to dress up and whatnot, but there are certain cultural outfits that shouldn't be worn as a costume.
Okay, and let's say you walk down the street and see somebody wearing the kimono. What do you say about that? Because last time you said that she looked good, so it's fine.
Okay, beauty's not a beholder. But
No, I thought she was a beautiful girl.
Yeah,
but that still gives her no right to wear something.
Okay, so if I saw it, I was younger a year ago, so I'm a little bit more, you know.
Woke?
Look, I don't want to rate on anybody parade, but I'll pull them to the side if they're able to have a conversation, because everyone is gonna be like having fun, you know, just maybe on a different level if on Main Street. So if they're on a level that we can have a conversation, it's like, hey, you might want to rethink your. But if the person gets disrespectful, that's when I back up.
But do you think do you think they're in the wrong? That's what I'm saying.
I think it's dependent, honestly. Like, I've seen costumes where people literally did blackface, and that's absurd. This is a whole new time. I mean, that's, a serious absurdity. But, I mean, this is just an example from Twitter, but I saw 3 white kids last year on Twitter dressed up. They're all 3 friends dressed up like Migos. They were dressed like rappers, no blackface involved, and like, some people are actually mad about that. Other people, I don't want to say most people praise them, but some people are still mad at that. And it's like, you can't be, because they didn't do anything wrong. They're dressed up as people that I'm assuming they idolize. So, you know, I feel like it's dependent. I've seen girls dress up as Disney princesses, and, you know, people freaked out about, and I've totally seen this and don't agree with it at all, but people have freaked out about somebody dressing up as Mulan or somebody dressing up as like Pocahontas. And I could see if you're dressing up as like, I don't know, let's say you were going for that Mulan style and maybe did something with your eyes to make it look different. I could see where things would get confused there. Or if you were going with, you're just dressing as a Native American, like in general, I could kind of see like the difference. But I mean, when people are dressing up like characters or like stars or whatever, I feel like you can't really, unless of course you're deliberately doing something to address the fact that you're trying to be a different race, there's not really an issue.
Yeah, if it's characters like Migos, like let's say people have dressed up to be like pop culture figures, as long as you're not disrespecting the culture and you have knowledge of it, you're not being ignorant, then it depends. But if you're
that's where
if you're doing it in a negative way and you're not, if you don't have proper intellectual knowledge about that culture and you're doing it in a negative way, then that's when But like with Migos, like if they're like the blackface, that'd be too much. But if you're just dressing up as like that, because they're very popular pop culture figures. Quavo just debuted at number 2, so it's a part of like, you know, what we see in media every day.
I think it's about the power that the person doing it, that their identified culture has over the culture that they're portraying.
Right.
So with blackface, with Pocahontas, you know, you're portraying a character that's been completely whitewashed in the story without really giving any tribute to the Native American identity, and I think that's where a lot of the problem comes in. And it's just about not having knowledge or respect of the community in which you're trying to represent in your Halloween costume. Be a unicorn, like, right?
Be like the Hulk or Spider-Man. Can't go wrong with Marvel character. Harry Potter,
that's another thing. It's like a lot of movies and cartoons and characters like Coco, that movie, is really dependent on the Mexican culture and Dia de los Muertos, and there are costumes now that kind of reflect that kind of culture, and a lot of people are like, that's problematic, and I understand that it is, but how do we draw the line? There are little kids that are watching Coco and they're like, oh, like that's so cool, like I want to be that, and it's like, we have to start teaching this to children now.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm struggling with that with my kids every day.
That I really feel like now we have to be teaching this to our younger siblings, to mothers who have children, and it's very difficult. It's a very difficult thing because even teenagers and young adults don't have a grasp because they've been socialized, and they all they've known all their life is that was okay.
But just think, if we start to have this conversation with them when they're younger, in 10 and 20 years when they get to college, hopefully we won't have to be having the cultural appropriation Halloween costume conversation.
And then the biggest controversy is just having those people that are like, it's not wrong, you guys are like, their voices are so like prominent, I feel like, because cultural appropriation is something that has been debated for so long. There's people that just don't understand, but hopefully this Halloween we see less Native Americans because that's not cool in my opinion, and people just respecting other cultures. We have to take another quick break, but don't go anywhere, and thank you so much to Faith for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it.
I can't wait to see what you all dress up as for Halloween.
True.
Characters only.
Yes.
That's it.
I only watch a few horror movies because I frighten easily. I love Hereditary. That was like my first pick, and I didn't see it, but I'll say it just for the sake of like answering the question.
Yeah, I like The Conjuring. It's The Conjuring, Insidious, and Friday the 13th. Those are fun.
Those are classics.
Suspenseful.
The Annabelle movie that came out this year, that's like the prequel to like the other Annabelle movies that come out like years prior, and Sinister, which is like a really like not obscure one, but like if you don't know it, it's not like something that you like comes up in conversation a lot. But it was a good like kind of like jump scare movie, like etc. Right on.
We're back and we're ready to talk about Canada legalizing marijuana. All right, so
It ain't the U.S.
They're already out of
Congrats.
everything, which is
Congratulations.
Good job to Canada.
Yeah. I'm sure
Really pleased for the Canadians.
yeah, they're the first G7 country to actually legalize marijuana, and the first one to federally do it was Uruguay in 2013. So what do you guys think in terms? Do you think this is going to mean America and Mexico is going to follow suit by 2020?
I think we're very behind.
We're
I
very
think
much behind because
we should
the problem with the United States is that if we do legalize marijuana, there are the people who are incarcerated right now for marijuana charges, and they have to figure out a way to acclimate them back into the community. Because one, they're most definitely going to be angry that the fact that, okay, I got caught, now it's legal, let me out, and I want some type of
and that's going to be a process that takes such a long time, and I feel like that's going to frustrate so many people because, I mean, imagine spending years in prison for something that's now legal, and then you have to go through a process just to get you out. So, but I definitely do think we're kind of behind because right now we're still dealing with human rights issues, as we were talking about before. We're kind of like backtracking on that. And Canada, I feel like Canada is like...
Canada's doing something. It said that, according to SQDC, it was the legislator of the company that runs, the government-run company that runs the marijuana industry in Quebec. They had 12,500 transactions in person, over 30,000 online. One of the Manitoba liquor and lottery companies, they had transactions that resulted in over $50,000 in revenue, and none of the most Bumble whatever province, they had the online retailer Tweed, they already ran out of supplies as well. And people already predicted that when they did different qualitative results in the summer, they were only going to be able to supply 30 to 60% of the demand. So do you guys think that they kind of just testing things out? They want to try and keep people on their edge? You think they're going to put a lot of stuff out soon? What do you guys think?
I think. Oh well.
In terms of marijuana
Yeah, no,
supply,
no,
do you
yeah.
think it's going to be a huge influx soon, or it's going to they're going to make the consumers wait?
Look, you're gonna have to make the consumers wait because it doesn't remember it is a plant. It is not something that you can cook up. It needs time to grow. And
Well, if it's
needs,
brownies, you can.
See,
Yeah,
but
but
you still
Of
need
course, the oil, yeah. for sure.
you still need it. So it's gonna be the price will go up and it will be really expensive because now the government has a hand in it. So they're gonna jack the price up. So one, it's gonna deter a lot of people from partaking because it's gonna be something expensive and it's gonna be something that takes time.
Hold
People
on,
are saying-
I thought I saw something where it's like one retailer had something which was as low as $6.50 or something, like $6.50.
Well, no, there's always going to be a lot of taxation.
Yeah,
It seems, and now
okay,
that it's
so like-
legal. But a lot of people are predicting that people may still go to the black market because
Of course.
with the taxation, like if you have a marijuana dealer who's one of your friends who lives down the block, gives you $25, $30
And since
eighth,
it's legal,
why are
you don't
gonna
have
go
to
a
show
$50 eighth?
exactly. And
I
you don't
bought
have to
legal weed
show
in
like
Canada,
that receipt.
Not in Canada, California in January, and it was a $50 eighth. That's not
That's
fun
ins-
and
that-
lucrative
yeah, that's-
for anybody.
that's insane.
So why do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I guess business is business, right? That's capitalism.
Right.
Yeah.
I bet in the U.S. probably eighths will be even more than taxation because the government, it's all business. You know what I mean?
But it's this idea of like reclaiming something that kind of,
Mhm.
and making it something
Yes.
that the government can handle.
Once
you
it's
know?
federally legal when
Yeah.
you're home, do you think you're gonna wake up, have a nice cup of coffee, and walk down and get weed on your own, or you're just gonna kind of let it come to
Well,
you?
personally,
When it's time, what do you think?
no.
Mhm.
But
Is
I'm
that
saying
what
for
people
people,
Would it be
they
allowed
just-
in your house, even once it's legal? Would your families be accustomed to it? Would stuff change? Or you think? Are your family strict with it in the house
My-
once it's legal?
I think dynamic would eventually change. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think dynamic will eventually change the same way, like, I guess how things are with alcohol. A lot of
Like
parents, for the
wine,
most part,
weed,
are like,
the
yeah,
dinner.
a lot of parents are like, okay, you could do it, but not, when you're a child or when you're young. Like,
I
obviously,
feel
like
like
over
this,
18.
I feel like this generation is a little bit different because
Everyone
my
has a
parents
drool.
would never
Everyone's
allow
just,
that. And personally, I wouldn't allow it either.
Right.
But like, let's say 2 generations from now, it's legal in the U.S. Who knows what's going to happen?
I think that has a lot to do with like stereotypes also. We have a lot of our folks, I guess, are like, no, it's bad for you, or maybe not even our parents. I guess it really depends on how you are raised. But I mean, like scientifically, there's not really bad, like
Right.
any
Well,
negative.
No, I believe that any substance people can abuse it. Depends on your
True.
mental state. But like anything, you should just wait till, because our brains are forming until you're 25. You should just wait till you're at least 17 or 18. I feel. But even then, it's just, you have to, it's your own individual path in terms of what you do. You have to you have to treat your own body right.
Well, we have to. You guys can continue this conversation after, but we have to take another quick break.
We're back with our lovely entertainment host, Brooke. So let's hear what you have for us this week, Brooke. What's going on in the entertainment world?
Okay, so on Saturday at the Staples Center, there was a fight between Rajon Rondo, Brandon Ingram from the Lakers, and Chris Paul from the Rockets. And this happened because apparently Chris Paul said that Rajon Rondo spit in his eye.
Which he did.
So
Was it
Which-
intentional or was it accidental?
It wasn't. Hey, check
Hey.
this out. Check
I
this
seen
out.
it. It
No,
was-
I didn't.
it
I
was
didn't
pretty
watch the
bad.
game. That's why I'm
God,
asking.
he
I'm
spit
generally
his eye.
intrigued.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Jeez.
here's some of the biggest factors that's going on about this. Rajon Rondo has had a history of a very, very wide history of being aggressive on the basketball court. So for him to do that, there's a close-up of him spitting on Chris Paul. However, the reason why they're fines. Chris Paul is suspended for 2 games. Brandon Ingram 3 games.
No, 4 games.
4 games, and Rajon 3
3
games. Okay. Chris Paul is the head of the Basketball Players Association, right? So he got fined about $400,000. Yeah, that's all of our tuitions. That's all of our tuitions. But as a basketball player, there's a certain decorum you're supposed to have because you have children looking up to you.
Very true.
And I get it. You're gonna have to retaliate once in a while, but as for this, these are very big name players. Rajon Rondo, he's been in the league for an amount of years. It's a long time, and CP3. CP3 has been on multiple teams. He's a finals champion, and all that. So these are all, and Brandon Ingram. He's a young boy. He's the youngest one of the youngest on the team, rookie year. And this is not something that you portray. This is not how you start off your rookie year.
Okay, so my question to you. If somebody was to spit in your eye, are you just going to sit there and let it happen? Like, was he not supposed to react? Like, how was that supposed to, like, what was supposed to happen?
But I know what you're saying, though. It probably shouldn't have happened to begin with. When you're getting paid all this money, people are seeing you.
Exactly.
You're a figure that people look up to. I also heard that Anthony Cletus, the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, he got kicked out of a Lakers game this weekend. That was interesting. You guys know Anthony Cletus?
I didn't hear about that.
I know.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, no, I know who he is.
I
I just didn't hear
about
about
the
it.
situation as well, because he was like
Travis
screaming, going crazy. But I feel like Chris Paul had to react. You know, he wasn't just gonna let that happen to him. Because I would have done the same thing. But it's like it's a time and a place, and you have people looking at you, and you're the face of the NBA basically. So it's like, what are you gonna do?
I think that's what's tough about being a celebrity is that you're still a human, no less. But you're like
You're always in the spotlight.
Exactly.
You're always in the spotlight, and you are supposed to, you're held to certain
It's like
standards.
He wasn't
everything you
supposed
do
to
is like
act.
Yeah, like every
magnified,
second something may happen. It's like,
and you have to
you're
know how to
constantly-
act.
Oh yeah, you're constantly looked at through a glass,
But
basically.
do you guys think
up
he
close.
should have got suspended though?
Of course. If he didn't get suspended, what type of example is that for the rest of the league? The rest
That's
of the
true.
league think they could wild out now. Oh yeah, all right, now I'm gonna pop on him next time I see him on the court. So, they have to.
And maybe bad for ticket sales in the venue, it just brings negative press. So
Yeah.
I didn't see it at all, but just general, I guess how the league is they don't react, and like more things might possibly happen.
The video was pretty
Oh yeah.
intense.
Really?
It was
Yes.
interesting.
Rondo caught a two-piece though. I ain't gonna
Yeah, that punch was. I was like, oh my goodness,
He caught a two-piece and no biscuit at all.
so bad. Okay, well, other news. Okay, so apparently Rihanna has declined to perform at the Super Bowl because she's standing with Colin Kaepernick. And what do you guys think about that?
She's
As
such a
she
queen. She's
We stand.
As
I'm
she
very
should.
proud.
Absolutely.
I'm very proud.
You know why? Because they're not going to drag us through the mud and try to do all these things to discredit what we are protesting. And then, no, absolutely not.
It's
She's
very
so right.
unfair to him and everything he's going through, honestly. But I applaud her for doing that because she could have just said yes.
Yeah.
She's standing with Colin Kaepernick, and other celebrities are doing the same thing. But I'm hearing that Cardi B is now about to join the bandwagon and be a part of this, and she's negotiating with the NFL to give her an solo spot at the Super Bowl. So I'm just
Really?
Well, why is
Why
Cardi
don't-
B doing
Well,
That's
that?
what I'm saying.
Maroon 5 is
is-
scheduled to perform.
Exactly.
And right
Oh,
now,
that's-
Maroon 5 and Cardi B have the #1 hit in the
Oh,
song.
okay.
I like it. So
Oh.
she was rumored to be in the appearance anyway because she has the #1 song in America right now because Maroon 5 is now performing. So yeah, maybe it was like in the works anyway, so who knows what's really going on. Well, thank you again to our entertainment host, Brooke, for spilling the tea with us this week. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, our very own Terrell Rowe is going to be performing a song for us, an original. So let's give it up for him.
My heart is not a hotel. No, my heart is not a hotel. My heart is not a hotel. Everything was so real. You were on my mind, got me wasting all my time, got me saying things I never say, praying for the rainy days. Douse the flames, you left me with flying high, taking shifts. Baby, we was kicking it and kicking it. No titles, cause we hiding shit. Oh, babe, I need a crying vent. My city, so much violence. I wanna get away, but these females is the same. And these niggas are to blame. And nothing was the same, so. Da 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 da. To all the ladies and the gents who keep on having sex with no reservation, no love, no declaration, no wait, no reveration. My love a declaration. I'm mad, I gotta say this. I might put love on a hit list. I might just load a full clip, shoot up the bullshit, hit you with the pool stick. Allergic to the love and miss you. Sorry, baby, I got issues on the things that I've been missing. Oh, da 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 da.
Nothing was the same now, yeah. I tell you, nothing was the same now. Whoa, whoa, nothing was the same now. Whoa. was the same now. Oh girl, we've been through so much shit and rubbed each other's backs and kissed each other's lips and fighting for each other at night. On lonely hours spent the cold, we warmed our bodies in coast. Spirits intertwined for a moment. We move and glide, just a moment. Just a sweet, sweet moment of peace and bliss with you, my love. You do tend to drive me crazy with anxiety. Late night chilling, getting high with me. But you will see, this remedy will help you sleep and help you see the real problems between you and me. And the real things that hold us back from seeing the beauty. There's nothing in the world that is lovelier than we. When I see you out in nature, taking pictures, being free, following passions, I am relaxing. And there's nothing that can hold me back from feeling this all energy now, living it up to you. I hope nothing was the same now. Yeah, I tell you, nothing was the same now. Whoa, whoa, oh, nothing was the same now. Whoa, nothing was the same now.
Let me know, tell me if you wanna go. I don't need to worry, I was so persistent. I woke up, now you're missing. This hotel had no lobby, you came through and you robbed me.
This heart don't take no sorry. No sorry, no sorry. Nothing was the same now. Yeah, I tell you, nothing was the same now. Whoa, whoa, oh, nothing was the same now. Whoa, nothing was the same now.
It's a destiny, yeah.
No, 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 no.
My heart is not a hotel.
Hotel.
My heart is not a hotel.
Hotel, 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 hotel.
My heart is not a